Welcome to the Simple Sophisticate podcast, where intelligent living is paired with signature style. I'm your host, Shannon Ables. And whether you're listening on your commute, exercising, working in the garden, or sitting down with a hot cup of tea or a cafe au lait, thank you for tuning in. Let's get started. Welcome to the 147th episode of the Simple Sophisticate. And if you're tuning in on the day this episode went live or become available, it is the first day of spring here in the Northern Hemisphere. With that, in honor of that and celebration of the first day of spring, this week's petit plaisir is going to be a recipe to welcome that new season. But today's topic, we have to get to today's topic first, is about the independent woman and love. We're going to talk about 10 truths about those two entities and how they intertwine. So let's just get right into it. I want to begin with a quote from Lauren Alex Hooper. And she states, "And you scare people because you are whole all by yourself." The 21st century woman, she has been called on this podcast and on the Simply Luxurious Life blog, the modern woman, is an independent woman. And while there are many different shades and rhythms and ways of living independently, there are also many things that independent women have in common. And some of these similarities are misunderstood by outsiders, as they expect the traditional response when it comes to the arena of love, or they have a misconception that because she is independent, she must not want love in the traditional sense. Today I'd like to share 10 truths, as I mentioned, about independent women and dispel any innocent assumptions, or maybe not so innocent, that simply are not true. Love, whether it be romantic, platonic, a love for a passion that we pursue doggedly and without apology, is an electric force that provides infinite fuel for life. Love is a necessity when it comes to living a life of fulfillment, contentment, and reaching our full potential. And it is the goal of reaching our full potential that is solely at the core and what drives women who are independent. Because reaching our full potential is a unique and original pursuit to each and every one of us, what we are looking for when it comes to love, romantic love especially, will be unique. But generally, these truths need to be understood by anyone wanting to be involved, currently beginning to date, or having been intimately partnered for quite some time with an independent woman. Let's get right into these 10 truths. Number 1. The enjoyment of her own company is real, but that doesn't mean she doesn't enjoy the company of others. Alone time, great amounts or small, is an absolute feast for the independent woman's being. She revels in it, finds immense pleasure in it, and doesn't need someone else to entertain her or keep her company. She enjoys her own company. And when she shares with you that she will be spending the evening by herself, she will be spending the evening by herself because she wants to, and her very busy schedule has bestowed upon her an opportunity that is ready to be savored and not often given. Whether she's an introvert or an extrovert, it doesn't matter. She does enjoy her own company. It may be in differing amounts, but when she says she's enjoying it, trust her. She does tell the truth. She knows what she needs, and she appreciates it when you understand this. Number 2, when she gives or expresses love or affection, it is real. Why? She won't waste time with games or ego-lifting flirtations. She is secure in who she is and doesn't need to drum up interest from others to remind her of her worth. She knows she is worthy, and more importantly, she respects the feelings of others and doesn't want to leave them on. Because an independent woman relies on herself for her income and fulfillment, she is busy. She is driven, and when she welcomes the possibility of a relationship into her life, she has done so thoughtfully. Number 3, asking for help is difficult, but when she says she doesn't want it, listen to her. An independent woman is willing to figure out her path and then get busy completing the tasks on her own that need to be done. She doesn't reach out and wait around for help. She may hire or pay a contractor or a plumber or an expert in the field that she needs assistance within, but rarely does she ask for help from others in her personal circle, as she assumes and respects that they have busy lives of their own, just as she does. However, don't be afraid to offer help. The primary reason, as I just mentioned, that she doesn't ask is because she respects your life and your schedule. She doesn't want to add one more task to your list, just as she doesn't need one more task on hers. Lastly, if you do ask and she says no, she means it. She's okay with honesty. In fact, she demands it, and therefore she practices it as well. Number 4, she is self-aware and therefore will not hold on to a relationship if she doesn't see a future or it is a fit that simply won't work. Speaking of honesty, she knows what she wants to accomplish. For the most part, she knows what it will take and what she can do and needs to do. She also knows at this point in her life what works and very clearly what doesn't. And if the fit isn't right, she won't beat around the bush, hanging on to see and hoping that it will iron itself out. In other words, if you are in her life, she appreciates the connection and the partnership that is unfolding and sees potential for both parties involved. Number 5, reaching her full potential is always at the core of her being. As mentioned at the top of today's episode, every woman's full potential will be different. The key is not to assume anything. Have a conversation. Have many conversations. Ask the questions. Don't place the stereotype crowns on her head that Hollywood perpetuates or society perpetuates. Ask her, does she want to become president? Does she want to be a mother? Does she want to travel the world helping those in need? Does she want to become the next Oprah? Does she simply want to write books, walk her dogs, and revel in the love she has with her partner? Ask her what reaching her full potential looks like. Number 6, friends may be few, but they are mighty. Her planner is full, her goals are clear, and her days are often long, but she sleeps well and she is excited when she wakes up in the morning, thankful for the opportunities she has in front of her. Because of her full life, the friendships she builds are strong and provide support in one way or another. Quality over quantity, as the need for strength is important, plays a role not only in the rest of her life, but with her friendships as well. The need for trust is vital, and with time on short supply, she wants to give fully to those she cares about. Number 7, she is looking for an equal partnership. Any relationship will ebb and flow based on the needs of the individuals involved. But the partnership an independent woman is looking for is not about fulfilling traditional roles. It's about setting each other in the relationship free to be themselves, a knowing by one another that there is a level of respect and appreciation for whom each is as an individual, and a desire to help each other attain their fullest potential, knowing that the support the relationship provides is part of the equation. Thus, investing in the relationship is crucial, which is why she doesn't select just anyone. Number 8, drama is for television shows and the theater. The independent woman, if and when she has time, may watch House of Cards, but she doesn't engage in drama in her real life. She may enjoy the reprieve and escape momentarily of a television show, but she recognizes the unnecessary burden one puts on their shoulders when they involve themselves in drama with friends, family members, and at work. An independent woman seeks to be productive, honest, and clear. Her time is valuable, and she wants to make the most of the time she does have to do what she pleases. While she knows how to negotiate, she also understands that people have feelings and keeps this in mind when working with them professionally and personally. Number 9, living together isn't off the table. It simply must be with the right person. As someone who has never lived with a partner, my reasons have never been due to statistics, as I share with you on the show notes from an article in The Atlantic, but rather because I simply don't want to live with them, which is probably why all of those relationships in my past didn't work out. We just weren't meant to be together. We weren't a good fit. It wasn't meant to last. Living together is an opportunity to connect more intimately on a daily basis, on a regular basis, but only when the independent woman can trust her partner will be her partner, not her roommate, not someone who will add more tasks and chores to her list. In fact, living together, just as finding a partner that meshes with you, should be an enhancement, not a burden to the life you already enjoy living. And number 10, we are looking for real love. Living alone is a wonderful experience, and once this truth is realized, it makes it easier to determine if you truly are interested in someone. Why? To change or tweak the life that works exceptionally well for you is a significant and telling decision. Needless to say, the person who provoked such contemplation must be someone unlike most others you have ever met. The key to living well, no matter where you find yourself in your life, is to enjoy your own company. And that is something independent women do exceptionally well. And when you enjoy your own company, you are demonstrating you are secure in who you are, your strengths, and while you may not applaud your weaknesses, you are aware of them and you don't let them hinder your progression. In fact, you may take time to address and improve them. And because you are secure and therefore self-confident, you are better able to recognize the same characteristics in others and quickly dismiss of those who are not, and therefore would not be compatible or able to be the partner you are seeking, if indeed you are seeking one. The funny truth is, just get on with your life. Get on with pursuing your goals and reaching your full potential. Get on with living and living well. Whether you intrigue someone or not should not be the goal. The goal should be internal. Juliana Margulies famously shared on CBS Sunday Morning back in 2015 that at the age of 35, she told her mother she didn't want to get married and she didn't want to have kids because she loved her freedom. Epitomizing the independent woman, she lived her life and loved it. And in so doing, she met her husband at age 39 as she was going about living this life that she loved, never with a goal in mind to meet him. Real love enters our lives in a variety of ways, through our careers, children, pets, hobbies, service, families, our partner, etc. But it should always begin with having sincere love and appreciation for ourselves. An independent woman understands this. She may struggle with who she is becoming as it is new and seems to regularly be changing as she grows and strives, but once she figures out who she is at her core, that doesn't change. And knowing that truth brings a comfort and a sanctuary that nobody can take away. For all the links and articles that are part of today's episode, visit the show notes at thesimplyluxuriouslife.com/podcast 147. And I've also included a few extra posts and archived episodes that you might enjoy on this similar topic. I have a link to how to live alone well. I have a link for how to revel in being a woman and being comfortable in your own skin. But I also have a link to those external articles that I mentioned about Juliana Margulies and the Atlantic article about cohabitation that I think are all worth looking into. They're very interesting. But we're not done yet. It's spring today, and I have a recipe I think you're going to enjoy. Very simple, truly delicious, and seasonal. I'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Today's petit plaisir is the simplest snack or appetizer you could ever have to put together, and it renders such a delicious, satisfying taste and crunch that you will be returning to it again and again and again. I know I will. After putting it together this weekend, I didn't know why I haven't known about this before. I'm sure I've probably come across it as I noticed Barefoot Contessa has a recipe out there. I'm sure I flipped through one of her cookbooks and saw it, but I've never made it. And what it is simply radishes baguette with butter, quality butter, and a sprinkle of coarse sea salt on top. It's delicious. It's absolutely delicious. And as today is the first day of spring here in the Northern Hemisphere, I thought, why not share with you a recipe to welcome the season? So this last weekend, I went and picked up a fresh baguette from my local bakery. I went and got some radishes, just one bunch is all you need. And I actually chose to get, for presentation's sake, a bunch of different colored radishes, but it really doesn't matter. As we know, it's going to taste delicious if they are fresh. Oh, the ones from the market, especially if we have those radishes here in a few months that have that real rich, peppery flavor. Oh, those are going to be so good. But then make sure you go find the best quality butter you can find. Now, I actually found a French butter in my local grocery store that had lightly been salted, but it's best that you get something that's either lightly salted or not salted at all so that you can determine how much salt you want on top when you sprinkle it. And that's all you need. Now, some people like to put a little bit of sprinkling of fresh herbs, and there's a handful of different ones you can use. I use basil because I actually had some extra in my refrigerator, and I thought, well, why not just use what I have? But oregano is one you can use as well. Dill, chives, or even tarragon is one of my readers shared with me yesterday on the blog when the recipe went live. So a lot of different herbs to try. Just make sure they're fresh, julienne them or rough chop them depending on what kind of look you want. And I decided to display them on a tartine cut of my baguette, so it's a little bit more elongated and probably serves one or two people. But you then lay out the butter on top of that sliced baguette. Then you arrange fine or somewhat more thick radish slices, depending on your preference. I put very fine radish slices on top of mine. And what I realize is that next time I'm going to cut them a little thicker because I really like that crunch of a radish. And then you sprinkle on a few fresh herb slices and julienne. And then last thing is sprinkle with coarse sea salt. The pictures are all on the show notes. So visit thesimplyluxuriouslife.com/podcast 147 and the recipe will be there as well. But as you can see or hear, the recipe's pretty simple. And anyway, hello spring. We made it. I hope you've enjoyed this week's Petit Plaisir, where each week ideas are shared to make the everyday all the more enjoyable. Tune in at the end of each Monday's podcast where I'll recommend a book, a film, or a recipe, anything that is a simple pleasure to satiate your sophisticated taste. Thank you for tuning in to the Simple Sophisticate podcast, where intelligent living is paired with signature style. For more ideas and inspiration throughout the week, stop by the blog, thesimplyluxuriouslife.com, or pick up the book, Choosing the Simply Luxurious Life, A Modern Woman's Guide. To stay caught up on the most recent podcasts, blog posts, and receive exclusive news as well as an extra dose of inspiration, subscribe to the Simply Luxurious Life's weekly newsletter, which arrives in your inbox each Friday to enjoy with a hot cup of tea or your morning coffee, just in time to jumpstart the weekend. Until next Monday, I'm your host, Shannon Ables. Bonne journée!